this program completely for free, they don't know how to find it or download it, I'm going to share with you how you can get it for free. What you want to do, you want to go to any one of my links in my descriptions. You want to click on the very first link. The very first link will help you land on the sales page. Now, if you don't want to read through this whole entire sales page, there are a couple of buy now buttons on this page. There's going to be one at the top. There's going to be a few other buy now buttons at the bottom. You simply want to tap on any one of these buy now buttons, which will take you to a coupon, take you to a checkout page. Now, on the checkout page, you want to scroll down just a little bit, and this is where you can enter your coupon code, which is YWIYC. Now, you can use all caps, all lowercase. It doesn't really matter. Your wish is your command. It's the very first letter, YWIYC. You're saving yourself $500. After that, you want to scroll back on top. You want to fill out your contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. After you tap complete my order, you want to check your email in a little bit. If you don't see it in your inbox, you want to go to your spam folder. It may end up in your spam folder for whatever reason. Retract that email back into your inbox. Tap on that email, and once you tap on that email, there's going to be a link inside that email, which should take you directly to the 14 audio series, Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. Now, the title of our video today is Why Manifestation Isn't Working For You Yet. Okay? And I actually want to give it a different title. I think I want to give it a slightly different title. Positive thinking is not enough to manifest. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to change my title. Why positive thinking is not enough to manifest. Okay. Why positive thinking is not enough to manifest. That's the title we're going to roll with today. And we're going to talk about why is it not enough just to have positive thinking. Now, I've been on this personal development for a very long time. Since in my early 20s, I spent a lot of time picking up different books on the laws of manifestation, or I listened to different audio CD sets. Now, I've definitely made a lot of progress over the years. However, we had so many different books, so many different audios, I was not able to piece together this puzzle. Now, Kevin's done an amazing job. He's gone through so much training, and I'm going to explain to you just the very surface level, the broad strokes. That's why you guys got to go and get the CD set for yourself and listen to the whole thing for yourself so you can get these lessons really ingrained. So my name is John. I was introduced to the CD set audio series a couple years ago, and I've applied the lessons to help my own personal health. And I'll share a little bit of my own personal journey so you guys can see, wow, these lessons can really work for me if I take them serious. And many people, they are very lost. They're very lost in the world of manifestation. They're looking at one YouTube channel after the next, not seeing any type of results. And many of those channels, they always want you to just feel good. Maybe you do another astrological chart. Maybe you buy yourself some crystals, light another candle, or you want to do more vision boards. I'm not saying those things are bad, but when you hear this set of lessons, these specific lessons that Kevin teaches, you can see that the law of manifestation is actually very practical. The law of manifestation is extremely practical. It's understandable. The very first lesson you want to pay attention to is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? Second lesson is the teachability index. How teachable are you? Third lesson is the training balance scale. And finally, the fourth lesson is 4 steps to mastery, or the 4 steps to learning. So I want to get this thing just started right off. The very first lesson, if you want to manifest positive things in your life, you need to be listening to the right people. Who should you be listening to? There's so many people on YouTube, so many people you're subscribed to, or you've opted with your email, your people just sending you a whole bunch of information all day, every day. There are a lot of advertisements. They're just screaming at you everywhere. Who do you listen to? According to Kevin, he says, you need to listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. So it's 2 steps. Many people, they are missing this very first key already because we've been trained to listen to all the wrong people. I'll demonstrate how I made the same mistake in the past. Now, just years ago, I was struggling with a lot of weight loss rebound. You can see this picture of me on the left. This is the before photo. I was living in San Diego, California at the time, living downtown. And back then, people told me, hey, if you want to get into better shape, you got to get yourself a personal trainer. There was a Horton Plaza downtown, and inside that Horton Plaza, there was 24-hour fitness. So I went to the 24-hour fitness, and you know how these trainers are going to start pulling up to you, be like, hey, I can help you. What are your goals? Are you looking to bulk up? You're trying to cut, etc., etc., etc. The problem I had with this 24-hour fitness was many of those trainers at the gym, they were not even in shape themselves. Isn't that very frustrating? You're trying to get into better shape, but you go to this gym, the trainers there, they had a higher fat percentage than you had. But we've been trained to listen to all the wrong people because we've been trained to say, hey, they're the experts. They're the ones that have the certificates for this. They're the ones that went to school for this, and that's why I should be listening to them. And you're making the very first mistake, which is you're listening to the wrong people. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. I've made multiple mistakes with my own personal health over the years. Not only was that struggling with weight loss rebound, I also had nasal congestion all the time. I had joint pains. I had restless feet syndrome. I had so many problems on top of one of the next. Just when I thought I had some relief from my setbacks, more problems occur. So you go to the doctor says, hey, this is what you got to be taking for your sinus problems. You should usually Claritin. And they said that after Claritin stops working, come back. I have more prescription strength antihistamines for you to try. Everything was just about going back to the doctors, picking up more meds, identifying different side effects, and from there, this person's got more medications for me to take. Isn't it time we have higher standards for our own doctors? Many of your doctors, they can't even fix the problems themselves, their health problems. They're struggling with their health problems. Now, if you're going to a family doctor, maybe you get some lab work done, right? Oftentimes you go in and say, well, these values are out of range, within range, out of range, within range. Going to send you down to different specialists, this, that, and the third. Maybe send you down to the pharmacy, pick up more drugs. It's the time for you to really critically look at your own doctor and be like, can this person really take me to the promised land? Can this person better my health? Isn't it time for you to tell your doctor, why don't you get up on that scale? Instead of me getting on that scale, you get up on that scale. Let's measure your weight. Not only that, we're going to measure your height. From these 2 numbers, we're going to get your body mass index, your BMI. If it's over 30, I got to find myself a different doctor. Why don't we put our doctors to these type of standards? Because we've been coached, we've been taught, we've been ingrained to kind of just go along, For me to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, I had to be paying attention to who I was listening to, the people that I was listening to. I don't care if it was the doctors, I don't care if it was the pharmacist. Things just got progressively worse. You will get a little bit of relief when you take Claritin for about 2 to 3 hours, but the rest of the day, you will experience a lot of drowsiness. Now, if you've been experiencing that before, you leave them in the chat. Let me know your experience taking antihistamines. Very grateful. I'm on the other side of the things now. What did I do? I started to listen to people who actually had the results already. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Instead of just going to the doctor, I started picking up books on naturopathic doctors, holistic doctors, integrative medicine. I started to branch out on my current set of books and knowledge base. And I said to myself, you know what? There is so much on the radar screen that I don't know. I need to fix my health for myself because nobody else there seems to be able to get it done for me. So went down this path. You can see this through years and years of just working on myself, my work, physical health, and what I've learned through reading books on integrative medicine, naturopathic medicine, or herbal medicine. They always focus on the digestive system. And listening to these, maybe they don't have medical degrees. Years ago, I was very aggressive about this. I even went and saw in person these heroes of mine. One of them was Charlotte Gerson. Charlotte Gerson, the daughter of Max Gerson, the founder of the Gerson therapy. She had a clinic down in Tijuana, Mexico. I went to see her in person. I read through all her books. I even met her son, Howard. I went after these people. They have vibrant health throughout their whole career. And you'll notice a lot of people, they're dealing with natural health. They're using integrative medicine. They're talking about human physiology. They're talking about detox. They don't have a whole bunch of roller coaster rides throughout the whole year or throughout their whole career. It is just a steady upward trajectory of their health. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. I'm very grateful, but I continue to improve my knowledge base regarding natural health. There's always something that I can learn, something that I can apply. And that's what I'll be talking about next with the Teachability Index. Now, throughout this presentation, if you have any questions you want to ask me regarding what I've shared, it could be about health, it could be about this, that, and the third, or these principles, put them in the chat box, and I'll just kind of go back and forth with you. It'd be very helpful. Who do you listen to? Now, I made a lot of mistakes, and I just want to give you another brief example. You want to be paying attention to the early signs of any health issue that you may have right now. Just a couple months ago, I took my own family member to the ER. It was an emergency situation, and I invite all of you, if you're on this call or you're watching this call later, you want to go to the ER yourself and take a little field trip. Because a lot of you don't know the liabilities that are ahead of you if you don't take good care of your health while you're young. I'm talking about even if you are a 19, 20, 21 years old, you need to prioritize your health. Because time, it goes so quickly. And before you know it, you already have a dad bod before the age of 30. While I was at the ER, this doctor came up to us, unimpressive. He was also overweight himself. But in that situation, in a trauma, emergency situation, you gotta let the doctors do their thing. Of course, none of this professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. If you're dealing with anything, always consult your doctor with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Now, once again, what do? They're going to send you on a whole bunch of field trips in the ER. Going to tell you, get your blood work done, get your vitals done, your heart rate, respiratory rate, how much oxygen is in your blood, your ECG or the EKG, electrocardiogram. Then you're going to do some x-rays. You get all these lab reports. It's going to take about 45 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, just to run around the hospital getting your lab work. Come back, and then they're going to start critiquing your lab work, critiquing your ECG, EKG, etc., etc., etc. The point that I want to drive home is, listen, these doctors, a lot of them look very unhealthy. They're overworked. In addition, these patients at the ICU, they're not there because they got into a motorcycle accident, got into a car accident, nothing like that. Most people there, they're there because of chronic diseases, multiple organ failures. When you see edema, swelling of the feet, when you start to see weeping edema, one patient after the next, when you see jaundice, skin color, eye color, very, very yellow, those are all signs of liver failure. And many people dealing with renal problems, dialysis, it's a complete mess in there. So what we gotta do, we really need to begin learning and increase our ability to learn. That's the next lesson I'll be discussing, which is the teachability index. How teachable are you? How coachable are you? Many people, if you ask them this question, they will say, yeah, I'm very teachable, I'm very coachable. How do you quantify something like this? It's not just something you just make up, but something that you can quantify. Now, that has two components to this. The first part is, what is your willingness to learn? What is your willingness to learn? You got to give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Next, what is your willingness to accept change? Also give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Okay? So the teachability or the coachability index has these two things. If your life is not moving in the right direction, if you're not manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires, this is a major component. How do you know you have a willingness to learn? How do you know you have a willingness to learn? The way that you know is you need to first identify your favorite activity now. What do you love to do? Most people that go back home after work, what do with those precious hours? They turn on their TV, they watch TV shows, turn on Netflix, turn on Hulu, Amazon Prime Videos, maybe they watch sports, pick up the PlayStation, go drinking with the boys, heading out to the clubs on the weekend, fantasy football. I don't care what it is. Are you willing to set that favorite activity aside and you're replacing it with audios, with books? You're attending conferences in person, or you're taking online classes, upping your skills, upping your knowledge. You have to shove new information inside your head purposefully in the areas of your health, finances, or relationships. You got to pick one if you want to go to the next level in anything that you want to do. So you got to give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Let's just say there are 30 days in a month, and you are willing to spend 10 days out of those 30 to listen to audios, to read those books, to attend online conferences or attend conferences in person. 10 out of 30 is 33%. You can give yourself a score of 3 out of 10 with your willingness to learn. That's how you can quantify that aspect. The next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? What is your willingness to accept change? Many people, they have all the books in their library. They got the DVD sets, exercise DVD sets. I don't care, it's P90X with Tony Horton. They got Insanity with Shaun T. They got Leslie Mills, Body Combat. All information. But you're looking at the person, they had these CDs for years, but they're so overweight. Your willingness to accept change is basically, now that you learn information, it's not enough to just have it in your head. You're actually going through the exercise. You're actually implementing it into your daily schedule. Now, most people, they're on this call, they usually drop out of this call because it's not comfortable information. Usually you go to another video, this is how to do more visualization, light another candle, you want to buy another crystal, get another astrological chart, do another vision board. I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm just saying those things will not help you long term. It might get you some feelings of excitement in the short term that you're making some progress. But when it comes to your own personal health, if you want to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, I'm telling y'all, nutrition is required, exercise is required, detoxing is required. And that's what's the missing key in my own personal journey. I don't know what it's going to be for you. If you're struggling with weight loss rebound, you're wanting to lose weight, I was doing the exercises. I was calorie counting on my fitness pal. I was still weight loss rebounding. So that means there's some things that are currently off my radar screen, and I want to share with you right now what that is all about. Human physiology, when it comes to the digestive system, is categorically the same. I don't care about your religious background. I don't care about your skin color, your cultural beliefs, what you eat. None of that stuff matters. When it comes to human digestive system, we're categorically the same. And if you do not believe me, go pick up a book of human physiology. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Inside your stomach, digestive enzymes breaking down the food. And over time, food is going to go into your small intestines for nutrient absorption. The small intestines is incredibly long. It is 4.5 meters, roughly 15 feet. Later, food is going to enter your large intestines for feces formation. This is the ascending, transverse, and descending of the portion, and out the back for elimination. So small and large intestines combined is 15 to 20 feet. Let's just say it's 20 feet. From that floor to the basketball rim, that's 10 feet off the floor. So the combined length of your small and large intestines is having 2 NBA hoops stacked on top of one another. Now, I share with you my health problems. I had a lot of nasal congestion. I had a lot of joint discomfort, restless feet syndrome. Another major problem that I had was chronic constipation. And this is a worldwide problem. I've done the keyword analysis for this. People all over the world, we are struggling with chronic constipation. What this means is your elimination is incomplete. Residues of all feces, they've been building up in layers on the walls of the colon. As they putrefy means decay and rot. They can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Now, many of you could possibly relate to this photo. You're struggling on the toilet. You're huffing and puffing, begging and pleading. Maybe those are the times you start to really pray and ask for some intercessions, where you start to call up your prayer warriors. And after all that huffing and puffing, what do you get? You still get a little pebble out the back. I had to address this situation because many people, they don't address the situation. They have a large intestines completely encrusted with fecal matter, with waste material. You need to learn go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. Let me just demonstrate this over here, 2015 over here. This guy over here, me, I was struggling with weight loss, rebound, and I was chronically constipated. I had all that waste material sitting inside of me. So you see a lot of guys, they're developing this dad bod, okay? It's not just from the fat tissue, not just the fat tissue, it's even deeper what's taking place in these organs. There could be inflammation, it could be leaky gut, it could be many different things people are overlooking right now regarding digestive health. And if you do not fix this problem early, what's going to happen is that you may be dealing with a toxic megacolon. This becomes very life-threatening because everybody's eating 2 to 3 meals per day, right? Most people in a first world country, they are eating 2 to 3 meals per day. But what happens? If they're not going to the bathroom, your large intestine is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until it can't get any bigger. It may burst. You may go into sepsis shock. Very life-threatening situation, or you have to be dealing with different medical procedures such as hemicolectomies, or you have to be installed with a colostomy bag, or they got something over here. It's called an ileoanal anastomosis. I'm not making any of these up. What happens over here in this medical procedure, simply, the doctors try to remove the colon, this green part right here. They removed it completely. So how do you use the bathroom? They use this particular procedure. They use the remaining section of your small intestine and reattach it to the anus. I know this could be very overwhelming for a lot of you out there, but that's why the teachability index is so important. What is your willingness to learn? Are you actually taking the time to learn about your physical body if you want to recover your health? Are you learning about the human physiology? Are you recognizing the early signs of chronic constipation? If you're eating 2 to 3 meals every single day, but you're not going to the bathroom every single day, you can just tell yourself, I'm chronically constipated, okay? Because it's not going to get any better anytime soon. You may be going to the bathroom once every 2 days, but over time, it gets progressively worse. It becomes 2 to 3 days. then 3 to 4 days, then 4 to 5 days. And before you know it, you're a whole week into your chronic constipation. And now you're going to be dealing with all these problems that I mentioned, where the doctors, they're going to recommend these type of procedures. Of course, none of this professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment. So what is the solution out there? Well, I do have a protocol, okay? Thankfully, I've been doing this protocol since 2019. I'm very, very consistent. When it comes to this particular area of my life, I am a 10 out of 10 with my willingness to learn. I'm also a 10 out of 10 with my willingness to accept change, which means every single week, I'm doing some type of detox protocol. Every single week. I haven't missed a week since 2019. Now, some of you, I don't know what you need to be doing to get rid of the waste material inside your colon. That's why you need to talk to your doctor, naturopathic doctor. Some of you may be doing a colon hydrotherapy or colonic, and the colon hydrotherapist, they'll be able to help excavate this waste material sitting inside your colon. Now, this will not reach your small intestines, but it's a great start. And there are different, I would say, wellness centers that do this very, very well. And many people, they find they do this colon hydrotherapy and they don't eat any food. They might just have some coconut water, they may have some liquids, and the next day they do it again. More comes out, more comes out. Why? Because many people, your colon has been compacted with waste material for a very long time, extremely long time. And you're wondering why you're having this problem, that problem, and a third. Waste material, they begin to putrefy, they have to ooze through the different orifices. Another reason why people have to buy these whole body deodorants, okay, because they have all this waste material sitting inside of them. Chronic constipation, you're going to be dealing with bloating and gas, abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, hemorrhoids, anal fissures, impaction, discomfort, general malaise, urinary problems, psychological impact, changes in bowel habits. In very severe cases, and this is quite common actually, people are dealing with internal or external hemorrhoids. People are dealing with constant infection. These could be abscesses and fistulas, or they're dealing with anal fissures. Now, when you go to your general doctor, what do they usually do? They're going to send you down to the proctologist. The proctologist is going to examine you down there, very embarrassingly, and they're going to say, oh, you got a couple of rectal prolapse. Don't worry about this. We know how to patch these up. What a proctologist is, these are highly specialized doctors focusing on the colorectal area. But have you really resolved the root of the problem? The root of the problem is upstairs. It's this one right here, your colon. If you can't get the waste material out of the colon, you're going to continue to struggle with the colorectal area, continue to develop infections down there, internal, external hemorrhoids, anal fissures. Can you guys see that? This is the current state of the medical industrial complex. They don't want you to have any solutions for your health. That's not the goal. The goal is always keep you sick, lifetime customer value. So you keep on going back to the doctor for the next set of procedures, for the next set of medications, for the next set of side effects, for the next set of medications. Now, if you're on this call, you have any questions for me, just put them in the comments. I'll be happy to help you answer any questions that you may have. Okay? We've been going through Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command, the specific lessons outlined in that CD set, but we also been applying it to our own personal life. Who are you listening to in your personal life right now? Can they really take you to the promised land? And how teachable are you? What is your willingness to learn? And what is your willingness to accept change? Now, so I'm going to put the links in the chat so you guys can get to it. And you guys can also, if you guys have any questions for me, you can also just put them in the chat box. Be happy to connect with y'all and I also drop my weight loss program down there as well for those of y'all interested in weight loss, the way how I got weight loss done permanently. Okay. If you're interested in any of these things, if you're interested in weight loss, if you want to improve digestive health, increasing your energy levels, enhance self-confidence, reducing your brain fog, if you want better body odor control, many of you can use that. I kid you not, many people that have the worst body odor. If you want confidence in your appearance, improved overall health. In short, if you want to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, if you want to get rid of your dad bod, this could be something you want to consider. All right. We already went over the very first 2 lessons to Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. The very first lesson is, who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Teachability index, what is your willingness to learn? Giving yourself a score from 0 to 10. And what is your willingness to accept change? Also giving yourself a score from 0 to 10. Okay. Now, next we're going to talk about the training balance scale. So give me a little bit of a break before I begin this next session. And you guys are going to have a lot of clarity about why are you ending up with a dad bod at such an early age. Let me have some coffee. All right, training balance scale. This is such an exciting lesson. Let's jump into it right away. Think of a scale that tilts back and forth. On one side of the scale, it's about how you think and how you feel. Your dreams, goals, attitude, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. How you think and how you feel on one side of the scale. On the other side of the scale are the how actions, specific techniques, strategies, action steps, plans, activities, and physical action. Which one is more important? In the world of personal development, they usually stress on the reason why you don't know or you haven't achieved the goals that you want is because you're missing the how actions. You don't know the specific techniques. You're missing the strategies. You're missing the activities and physical actions. Now, according to Kevin, how he trains people over the years and how he got results over the years, he focused more on how he thinks and how he feels. Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. He did not write the book, you need to know all the action steps. You need to know the specific techniques, then you can grow rich. How you think and how you feel commands so much more importance than all this other just vehicle strategies or just physical actions. Let me explain. I could be wrong, but I believe what Kevin is trying to get to is what you're dealing with is very, very deep levels of your subconscious mind. That if you've been on this personal development journey, then you know that, okay, there's the conscious thinking and there's the unconscious thinking or the subconscious thinking. The conscious thinking only commands 5% of your mental capacity. It's about your short-term memory, your logical thinking, your willpower, your decisions and analysis. Over here in the subconscious, that's who you actually are. Your true habits and beliefs, your values, your identity, your creativity, your self-worth, your imagination, your self-confidence, your long-term memory. Right now, your automatic bodily functions are controlled by the subconscious mind. Right now, your heart rate, respiratory rate, controlled by the subconscious mind. Your blood pH, controlled by the subconscious mind. Your blood sugar, controlled by the subconscious mind. But who are you at the very, very core? Not the person you see in the mirror. What do you truly believe about yourself? Who is really down there? The habits and beliefs that's truly down there at the very, very core. How does that person think and feel most of the time? I believe that's what Kevin's trying to get to. because that is the part most people are struggling with, because on the surface, everybody knows, oh, I need to be eating right. I need to do the detox protocols. I need to do my exercises if I want to get that six-pack abs for the summer. But what's really holding them back, they're trying to do the behavioral changes, but they don't make any changes in the subconscious thinking. There's that disconnect right there. The subconscious mind, the subconscious image of yourself doesn't believe that you can have six-pack abs. And I want to discuss why that is. For a very long time, they have been programming your subconscious mind through TV programming, through what? These very entertaining TV shows. We got Hank Hill, King in the Hill. Of course, many of you watch Homer Simpson with The Simpsons. I watch Homer Simpson with The Simpsons. Next, what you have Norm on Cheers. Over here, you have Al Bundy, Married with Children. You have Peter over here with Family Guy. And even in cartoons, you see all these cartoons. Cartman, he's overweight himself. And so you're watching these TV shows day in and day out. Hank Hill goes to an average shop, lives in an average neighborhood, has a nagging wife, children that don't really respect him. He has these friends that just hangs around and drinks beer. None of them are high performers. Next, Homer Simpson goes to an average job, Springfield, comes back home. At the beginning of the show, what do? They have all these characters, they always rush to that sofa and they put themselves right in front of the TV. Don't you think that's a form of programming? Because that's what they want you to do day in and day out. Homer Simpson, he's not taking any personal development classes, I'll tell you that. And he's rewarded for just staying average. What do you have? Norm on Cheers. Now, this is a show produced in the 70s and 80s, I believe, so they had a lot of reruns in the 90s. And this was a very popular character, and he recently passed away. Rest in peace. If you guys really want, you can go take a quick look at his fairly recent photos. It's not looking good. But why am I mentioning these different characters? This is who you actually are at the subconscious level. You identify with these characters. Married with Children, Al Bundy, same thing, goes to an average job, comes back home to an average home. His wife doesn't really respect him, and he's got these kids, don't really respect him. And day in and day out, it's the same thing. Day in and day out, there's no progression, there is no personal development, there's no, oh, I'm going to take Bud to a personal development class. Nothing like that. Peter, Family Guy, so you keep on watching these TV shows all day, every day. That's what's really getting ingrained. And think about how they have these laugh tracks in the background. When the character does something and there's automatic laughter, that reinforces something. The habits and beliefs, the values and identity, your self-worth, imagination, self-confidence. When I was in high school, I hear people talk about what they watched the night previous with Homer Simpson. And you wonder why, as they get a little bit older, they get their own place, maybe after college, they're going to go to the grocery store and buy themselves a pack of beer. They don't even know why. They don't even know why when they turn 21, there has to be beer in the house. Because throughout so many episodes, that's been a constant occurrence. I don't care if you're watching Hank Hill, Homer Simpson, many of them's like, I just want to go back home. I want to turn on television and I want to drink a nice cold beer with my boy, Homer Simpson. You keep on identifying with this person and you wonder why you have such a difficult time achieving six-pack abs. I have six-pack abs all year round because I was very conscious of this. I needed to install somebody with six-pack abs, not just in the physical body, but also in the subconscious mind. And that's what I've been focusing on quite a bit over the last couple of years. I want to share with you why most people, they can't have consistent health all year round. It's because what they have in the subconscious mind, maybe they have all the desire, all the positive mental attitude to say, I want to get a six-pack abs for the summer. July is here, they want to be at the beach, get the photos taken for their Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So from January to end of June, they're working hard at the gym, and in the short term, they're going to get those results. Especially if you're early 20s, you're going to get six-pack abs. It's quite easy. Your metabolism is firing and wired for all that. Let me tell you, all that stuff goes away. By the time you're 30, 35, 40, it gets increasingly more difficult to achieve six-pack abs. But once September hits, fall kicks in, activity level goes down, October rolls in, and before Halloween even hits, you are attacked by a whole bunch of cupcakes, pumpkin pies, sweets at the office, even way before Halloween parties and Halloween dinners, all the sugar that you'd be taking. A couple weeks later, what do you have at Thanksgiving? Multiple Thanksgiving dinners. Now it's just packing on the calories. And before you know it, you roll right into Christmas, eating more meals on top of meals, multiple Christmas dinners. And a couple days after Christmas, what do you have? New Year's celebration. You're right back into it. You can see why people, they go through these cycles of, all right, they get a bloated stomach, and then they shrink down for the summertime, and they go right back. Because their unconscious thinking, their true habits and beliefs, their identity, their imagination, self-confidence is out of a healthy person. They've got Hank Hill down there. They got Homer Simpson. They got Norm. They got Al Bundy. They got Peter. They got Cartman down there. You spend half an hour, okay, with one show. So another show, you're an hour in, and another show, an hour and a half, and another half, 2 hours in. Just with 4 TV shows, you're 2 hours in. And you can see the consistency of these characters. They're not high performers. They don't want to improve themselves. Everything stays the same. After all these seasons of The Simpsons, they're still in Springfield, in the same house. Nothing's changed, okay? Same thing with Hank Hill. After all these seasons, still in the same house, same wife, same kids, nothing's changed. Is that what you want? Well, you gotta close some doors to this type of programming. You gotta be very selective about who is programming you, because they are intentionally programming you. They want you to be pathetic. They want you to have a dad bod. They're so confident on how they're programming you. They're mannequins with a dad bod now. Their forecasting is accurate. They know that every single year, more people are buying XXL, XXXL, you know, these larger, tall, large sizes. They know people are going to pull up. They're not going to be pulling up a six-pack abs. And that reinforces. And they also have all this ideological subversion junk going in. They got a whole bunch of pretty girls say, yeah, I want a guy with a dad bod. Dad bod is very, very sexy. And people believe that. They give you a way out of these in your subconscious mind. Many people, they identify with Hank. Hank is very relatable. I'm just like him. Go to an average job, come back to an average home. And I'm okay being average because I'm not disgusting like Bill over here. Same thing over here. Many people, they identify with Homer Simpson, but the TV show gives you a way out. Because in the back of your mind, you're telling yourself, at least I'm not disgusting like Barney. Believe me, if you don't fix your health early, if you don't increase your level of teachability index, if you don't start listening to the right people, and you don't really think about who you are at the very core, that blueprint sitting down there inside of you, you're going to end up like Bill. Before you know it, you're going to end up like Barney. You're going to be that disgusting guy. That's what's going to happen. I already told you they're confident enough to get people to create these dad bod mannequins. That's how confident they are in reprogramming you and getting the results, getting you on a very, very dark path. Right? So you're consistently sick, you're never well, and they're going to continue to extract your time, money, attention. That's the game. That's the game that they play. What game are you playing? What is the direction that you want to set for your own personal life? So before I move on to the next lesson, what questions do you have? What questions do you have before I jump on to the next lesson? Give me a little bit of a break, okay? I need to get some coffee. Let me know where you're from. Where are you from? Bye-bye. All right. Yeah, a little bit of a break here. Is this making sense for any of you out there? What's going on? What's on your mind? Once again, get this CD set completely for free. Very easy. You go to any one of my videos. It's got to use the very first link in the descriptions from here. You see a sales page. Now you don't have to read through this whole thing if you don't want to. It'll help you a lot though. You know what you're getting. You just want to tap buy now. Tapping buy now. There's going to be a coupon code area. Scroll down a little bit. Hit yourself apply. Hit apply. Come back on top. Fill in your contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. You just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. Tap complete my order, and you'll get the digital download in your email. Now, if you're not seeing it in your inbox, just double check with your spam folder. It may be in there. Re-drag it back into your inbox. Tap on that email, and you want to tap on that link in the email to get access to the 14 audio series, Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desire. Now, the fourth lesson in Your Wish is Your Command is 4 steps to learning. We all go through these 4 steps, and we continue to go through these 4 steps based on how teachable you are, all right? So let's just take about riding a bike as an example. We all go from a place of unconscious incompetence. You don't know how to ride a bike. You may have to start on a tricycle or training wheels, and your loved ones or family going to help you get back on that bike, tricycle, and you're going to pedal, and you're going to place your hands on the handles. You don't know what you're doing. But over time, you're going to develop some neurology for it. You're going to get a little bit better at riding that tricycle. But the next part you're going to counter is conscious incompetence. You know that you don't know something. You may see some neighborhood kids, they're a couple of years older than you are. They're on their bicycles. They're so proficient at riding that bicycle, they're riding without their hands on their handles. They're popping wheelies even. And you're like, I'm just trying to struggle here on my tricycle, but I know there's so much to learn about being on a bicycle or a tricycle. Over time, you're going to develop conscious competence. You know that you know something about riding a bike. And you're going to get back on that bike, maybe right now, the training wheels are off. You begin to learn how to balance on the bike. Because when you were on a tricycle or training wheels, you didn't really have to learn how to balance. The bike is going to fall over, you get back up, you do it again and again until you can begin to understand, I got to get some forward momentum going, and from there, I got to balance these handles, right? And one step after the next, you're going to get better and better and better and better at it. And before you know, you're going to develop something called unconscious competence. You know how to ride that bike, your friends are going to call you, you're going to jump on that bike. Success is automatic. We all go through these different stages. I don't care if it's riding your bicycle. I don't care if it's driving stick shift. I don't care if it's tying your shoelaces. I don't care if it's using chopsticks. You go through these different stages. Before you know, you're going to get more and more proficient at it until in a place you become unconscious competent at these skill sets. Now, you are installing that skill into your subconscious mind because for many people, they don't even ride a bike. You go into college and they start working. They're just driving all the time. They're not riding their bicycle. Maybe they go on a family vacation, and on the family vacation, there's going to be a bike trail, and they say, hey, we're going to get some bike rentals. In that moment, you're not going to be full of anxiety at all, because you've already installed the skill set of riding a bicycle many, many years ago. It's still down there. That's what we're talking about. You want to be installing things into the unconscious thinking, into the subconscious mind. There's a blueprint down there, and right now, if you're not getting what you want, the self-image down there is preventing you from getting it. Even if you achieve some temporary results, if your inner blueprint is Hank Hill, if your inner blueprint is Al Bundy or Homer Simpson, the moment you get some type of a physical result, you start to see your six-pack ass start to form. Homer Simpson in the unconscious thinking is going to pull you back to what it feels safe. And this is what's so sinister about programming, right? You can go in a very positive way if you allow yourself to only receive positive instructions, positive programming. But most people, we're surrounded by so much advertisements, so much false information, and we kind of just go with the flow. We're going with the flow, what our friends are doing. Are you guys learning anything on here? Let me know in the comments if I can explain this a little bit better. The 4 steps to learning if you choose to continue to learn and better yourself. Let's just say you know how to drive stick shift. And when I started learning how to drive stick shift, it was in Seattle, Washington. It was not easy. My brother taught me how to do it. So in Seattle, you have a lot of these hills, and they're extremely deep, especially in the downtown. And when it rains a lot, it gets very, very tricky, because what you have to do, if you're at a red light, you're up at a hill, you have to have the emergency brake on. After that, you are negotiating with your clutch and the accelerator to find some forward momentum before you release the emergency brake. And when you first had to practice at that again and again and again, it was unconscious incompetence. But over time, you do it again and again, you do it hundreds of times, thousands of times, then it becomes unconscious competence. But is there no more I can learn? And that's where most people stop. They think that, well, I have mastered this area, right? There's nothing more for me to learn. Look, of course there's something more for me to learn. I don't race NASCAR. I'm not a Formula One driver, right? Just because I know how to run doesn't mean I can run and represent as an Olympian. Nothing like that, because there's so much more that somebody else that they can learn as a runner, right? Those runners coming out of Africa, they're not that much different than I am talking about physique, but they've done so much more training. They have the mental, fortitude to do that, those long distance stuff. They have so much more training regarding, okay, where am I, the place in, there's always another level that you can go to. Even tying your shoes. Most people, they just tie their shoes and it's all crooked. And they're just like, my shoes are tied. No, if you go find yourself in a Nordstrom and get those professionals to teach you how to tie your pair of shoes, there's a lot more that you can learn. And there's so many different ways that you can tie that pair of shoes professionally. So this just comes out very square, okay, on your shoes. And it doesn't just untie itself very easily. There are ways that you can always go to the next level in your learning. Even simple things like tying your shoes, driving your car better, right? Even using chopsticks. Right? So many things. So I want you guys to always put this in the back of your mind and recognize that you never really learn everything. Who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Depending on the season that you're in, as you continue to upgrade yourself, you're going to be listening to different people that can take you to the next level. I don't care if that's for your health, your finances, your relationships. Teachability index. Are you willing to set aside your favorite activities? What is your willingness to learn? And what is your willingness to accept change? It's not enough just to have a whole bunch of information in your head. You actually need to apply them very consistently. It needs to be on your calendar to put it to practice. Next, what is the training balance scale? How you think and how you feel. At a very core fundamental level, at the unconscious or subconscious level. Who are you really down there? Not the person you see in the mirror. Who's really preventing you from achieving the results that you want? It could be this portion right here. What is really installed in the subconscious thinking? Like I talked about previously, the way how you ride a bicycle, that is installed in the unconscious thinking. You're not using your conscious thinking to balance on a bike. That skill set is installed in the unconscious thinking. What else could you install down there? What type of image can you install down there in the subconscious thinking? And if you have it down in the direction that you want, you're going to be taken to the right people, events, circumstances, the action steps in the natural. That's going to help you reach your goals. 4 steps to learning. Go from a place of unconscious incompetence, moving your way up to conscious incompetence, moving your way up to conscious competence, and moving your way up to unconscious competence. And be perfectly okay when something you don't know, and then you are kind of knocked back down to unconscious incompetence. That happened to me many, many times. Coming back to health, I didn't just stop here. I didn't just fix my digestive health. Over time, I had to learn about internal parasites. Many people, they overlook this topic completely. And you will find news like this, even in the United States. Women find parasites in salmon at Whole Foods, where they're finding worms in their Costco salmon. Over in Canada, Alberta man gets first known Canadian case of worms from grocery store raw salmon. I can tell you, he wasn't the first and he's not going to be the last. Did you know the United States has a national parasite collection? This collection has over 100,000 specimens classified. And each year, this database only grows larger and larger. Go to the Library of Congress, go to archive.org. There are many free books online. You guys can look through a century of parasitology. You guys can read through veterinary parasitology. You guys can even go on YouTube, go through some Animal Planet videos, and they will go through some examples in the United States and across the world, what type of different parasites people are struggling with. Now, what are the risk factors when people are consuming undercooked, rare steak, right? People are eating sushi, hot pot, intestinal products. It's very, very problematic. So go study the life cycle, right? There's a lot for you to learn. I'm just telling you, there's so much you guys want to be learning. Don't just take my word for it. Years ago, I was just browsing around the CDC. They say approximately 800 million to 1.2 billion people in the world are infected with roundworms. It's called Ascaris. Right? You don't want to wait until it becomes so severe. You have to go to the hospital and your doctors have to extract all these roundworms from your large intestine. This is not pasta from the Olive Garden. And different parasites, they can target different organs, and then it's going to create a cyst. It's called cysticercosis. Many of your pets, they are just infused with so many parasites. And many of y'all, you let your pets just kiss you and lick all over your face. You don't look into stuff like this. Of course, this is part usually my presentation people just check out, because it's so beyond their radar, beyond their scope of awareness. And even when they go to the doctors, they dismiss this type of stuff. Or they get some tests done, they come back negative. It's like, oh, you don't have parasites. Listen, this is a potential outcome. You may get cysticercosis all over your muscle tissues, or you may get something called neurocysticercosis, where parasites, they've gone into your brain. Okay. Did I just stop my learning there? No, I continue to learn. I continue to learn about liver health, how I can flush out gallstones out of the gallbladder, also intrahepatic stones from the liver. You got to be very thankful of this common bile duct. This common bile duct has so many responsibilities. It is connected into your liver through the intrahepatic ducts. You may have intrahepatic stones inside the liver, and if they have an opportunity to come out, they're all going to come through the common bile duct straight into the duodenum. And there are ways that you can flush out gallstones out of the gallbladder in the comfort of your own home. But a lot of people don't know that. Right? So there are books out there for you to read regarding this, because everything is interconnected. The common bile duct is also connected to the pancreatic duct, you guys. Pray for your common bile duct. You gotta find ways. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but there are ways to get this congestion out of the liver and get the congestion out of the kidneys. Right? People are struggling with kidney problems, bladder problems, prostate problems. Listen, not professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment. You need to be fixing the kidneys on top first. Talk to your doctor. We went through a lot of content today. All right. I discussed a little bit about who I am, who do you listen to, teachability index, training balance skill, and the 4 steps. Before I close out, I just want to share a very powerful tool that I've been using for over a month now. If you're interested in using ChatGPT, if you're interested in using how AI could help you, give you some guidance for your daily steps, this is a tool that I've been using. So what it is that you need to create a future self. You need to spend a lot of time thinking about this future self, this future version of yourself. What does this person look like? How does this person speak? How does this person respond to setback, people, events, situations, circumstances? You want to be in tune with this future self. You want to craft this future self. Now, this future self can actually be turned into an AI coach. And that's what I've been doing for over a month now. Every single day I've been using this tool, and I find it to be extremely helpful on my journey. Because every single day I can ask this AI coach, hey, am I on track? What are my next steps? I need some daily accountability that fits my style. I need some guidance that actually sticks. Using the only mentor who truly gets you. So what's going to happen is it's going to extract your future self's identity, values, and voice using ChatGPT, using a specific set of AI prompts tailored for this. You're going to be training your AI to respond and coach like that version of you. And there are proven prompt templates, give you focus, help you eliminate resistance, and to build consistency. Now, you don't need any technical skills or coding. If you know how to copy and paste, you can use this. And the person that created this program is a very good friend of mine. I've known him since 2012. So it's been 15 years. It's been 15 years, and he is actually just charging $10 for this program. And if you want clearer communication from the version of you that matters most to you, if you want to get a coach that truly gets you, because it's just a future version of yourself, get this program. And Brad, that's his name, he also has a 100% money back guarantee. If you don't find this to be useful for you, get a full refund. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive into this, this is another program I highly recommend. This is a 30-day program. Now, if you want to reset, you want to learn about AI, you want to develop new mental frameworks, you want to eliminate self-sabotage, you want to transform your uncertainties into opportunities. See, this is Brad right here. I'm also going to include this link in the comments below so you guys can do this 30-day reset. So the first week I went through this, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to share something I haven't done already. In the very first week, we're going to reset your attention. In the second week, we're going to reclaim your identity. You want to get this first program, the $10 one, you want to have that tool already in place. So it's going to make sense when you use this 90-day challenge or 30-day challenge. Week 3, you're going to design your inner environment, build your mental architecture, install new thought patterns, create emotional momentum, and you want to have unshakable clarity. Once again, it's what's down here that is driving everything else. And in week 4, you should begin to move like your future self, integrating different protocols that Brad's going to be sharing with you on a daily basis. You're going to have automatic alignment triggers. He's going to help you set up alerts that's going to show up in ChatGPT, also in your email, keep you on task. What he's trying to do, he's trying to put you into a very natural flow state. And that's what we're all looking for, right? People, they don't have alignment. First of all, they don't know what's going on down here. You got to reprogram this. Once you reprogram this, the action steps are going to come a lot easier. There's going to be a flow. There's not going to be all this resistance. Most people, like I shared before, why do they fall back into a dad bod? Why do they have weight loss rebound? It's not because they're not doing enough reps and sets at the gym, or they're not calorie counting. Those will help. But if you want six-pack abs, six around all year round, you need to have six-pack abs in your unconscious thinking, in the subconscious mind, where there is nothing else in the subconscious mind but that person with six-pack abs. Their true patterns and beliefs, their identity and self-worth, their self-confidence and long-term memory is only that. And this is malleable. You have to believe in neuroplasticity. If you believe in neuroplasticity, how your brain can fire and wire into a new person, you have to believe the unconscious part of you, the subconscious mind, is also programmable. You can program that unconscious thinking or the subconscious mind into a new version of yourself. So I want to thank all of y'all for jumping on this call, whether you're on the live call or you watch this call later. You have an amazing rest of your week. You have any questions for me before I close out? So let me know what's going on. Somebody's on this call. Tell me, what can I help you with? What are your questions? Put them in the live chat. Put them in the live chat. Let me know how I can help. Or else I'm just going to turn this thing down. How are you? Where from? How can I help? How can I help? Once again, we went through a lot of information today. Some of it was health, but how I applied Kevin Trudeau's "Your wish is your command," and how I applied that to my own personal health, right? And it's just a very small glimpse of the information that I had to go through to recover my own personal health. Because whatever I was doing before was not working, right? So I had to listen to a new set of instructions So yeah, I know somebody's on this call. What are your thoughts? How can I help? I'm going to bounce in about 1 minute. So ask your question or I'm out of here.